Hello and welcome back to Crooked Yarns. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple granny square. This video is for those of you who are left-handed and I will be using US terminology. If you need the right-handed version or UK terminology, you will find a link to these videos in the description below, along with links to the materials and tools that I'm using today. Here we have our simple granny square. It's made up of double crochet stitches. The only gaps that you can see are on the chain spaces for the corners. You have the option with this type of granny square to continue and make one large square, or you can make several and put them together to make any type of blanket, top, baby blanket, jumper, cardigan or anything else that you wish. It's important to make sure that the yarn that you're using is suitable for the size of the crochet hook that you're also going to be using. If you have a yarn that's too thick, then your work's going to feel quite bunched up and tight. Whereas if you have a yarn that's too thin, you're going to find that it's very holey and gappy. As we go through the tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to increase in the corner chain spaces so that your work grows without it bunching too much in the corners. You'll see a lot of patterns online that use granny squares. They're so simple and effective because of the cross pattern that you have in the middle. When you put several of them together, you can make a lovely diamond effect, depending on how large you want your squares to be and how much of the effect you want it to show. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using a yarn by Stylecraft. It's an Aran weight yarn and the colour that I've chosen today is copper. I find that this yarn works up beautifully without the nasty pilling effect that you get with some of the yarns. As it's made from 100% acrylic, it keeps its shape while maintaining a nice soft feel. If you're new to crochet and you're wondering which type of hook to use or which size, you can look on the back of most yarn labels. You will see that it gives a guideline for knitting needles and crochet hooks. For this Aran yarn, it is recommended that we use a 5 to 6mm crochet hook. This is a steel crochet hook with a tapered end. You'll find that this type of crochet hook is used for right and left-handed people. There is no ergonomic design to the handle that stops people using it regardless of what hand is dominant. So to start, you're going to need your crochet hook and you're going to need the tail end of your yarn. I'm going to leave a 6 to 8 inch tail at the end of my yarn so that I can create a slip knot and start my chain. The easiest way that I find to make a slip knot is to simply wrap my yarn around my first 2 fingers. The second pass on my yarn is then passed underneath the loop that I've made, and you pull up a loop to go on your crochet hook. You can then pull your 2 loose ends of yarn to tighten the knot before placing the loop onto your hook. If you then pull the tail end, the loose end of your yarn, it should tighten up the loop. And we're going to chain 4. So now that you have your chain 4, this is going to form the basis of your first round. We're going to take our crochet hook and we're going to insert it into the first chain that you've made. This is the chain closest to your slip knot. So insert your hook into your last chain, yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. You're then going to pull your yarn through the next loop on your hook as well. This is a slip stitch. What you can see here is it created a small ring with our chain of 4, and this is where we're going to start our first round. You'll find that some people pass the tail of yarn around the loop as well, so that it gets crocheted in as you go. If you find this too difficult, don't worry about it, we can weave that in at the end instead. Your first round from this loop is going to create the square edges for your granny square. We need to bring our yarn up to the height of a double crochet, and we're going to do this by chaining 3. We're also going to be working straight into our corner, and each corner has a chain 3, so we're going to add another chain 3 to this. You should have a total of 6 chains. Next, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to place your crochet hook back through the centre of the loop that you created with your initial 4 chains. You're going to pull up a loop and you're going to create a double crochet. As a reminder, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook. You're going to repeat this 2 more times so that you have a total of 3 double crochets going through the centre ring. If you need any help with a double crochet, please check out my quick stitch library. These are a collection of short videos that show you how to work the stitches. We're now going to chain 3 to make a corner space. This is going to give the square effect. As you can see, this chain 3 is the same as the last chain 3 that we made, and this is our second corner. You're now going to place 3 double crochets into the centre ring again. You can see how the granny square's first round is starting to take shape. If yours doesn't look like this, remember to count your stitches and count your chains. You should have 3 double crochets per side and 3 chains for each corner. Once again, we've reached a corner, so we're going to chain 3. You're then going to place 3 double crochets into the centre ring. So if we take a look at our work now, we've done 3 sides of our granny square. Don't worry if you find that your centre ring starts to get a little bit tight, it's just due to the stitches that are already in it. The final side of our granny square is going to be made up of 2 double crochets and a chain 3. We're now going to chain 3 for our final corner. You're then going to place 2 double crochets into the centre ring. The final step for this round is to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from your centre ring. To do this, you're going to count up 3 chains from your centre ring. This is where you'll be placing your hook. As you can see, we've now completed the first round of our granny square. The next round that I'm going to show you is the one that you're going to repeat for as many rounds as you need to make the square as large or as small as you like. The first thing that we need to do is to slip stitch into the next chain along. You're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it into the next chain from the stitch that you're in at the moment. From now on, we're going to be increasing our stitches into every corner, as well as placing stitches into every crochet around. Just like we did at the start, the first stitch that we're going to make is going to be a chain 3, and then we're going to chain another 3 for the corner. The first 3 chains count as one of your double crochets. You're now going to place 2 double crochets into the chain space. After this, you're going to place 1 double crochet into the top 3 stitches of your previous round. And then to finish this side off, you're going to place another 2 double crochets into the chain space. You've now completed the second row of the first side of your granny square. You now need to chain 3 for your corner space, and then you're going to place another 2 double crochets into the same space. Once again, you're going to place 1 double crochet into the top of each of the 3 stitches from the previous round. Once we get to the corner space, you're going to place another 2 double crochets. If we take a look at our granny square right now, it's not exactly square. Don't worry if yours looks the same as mine, it's because we haven't quite finished yet. I'm now going to continue placing my chain 3s and my double crochets till I finish this round. As you can see, I've almost come to the end of my second round. I'm going to show you how to complete this round so that you can repeat it for as many times as you need or as many times as you'd like to. I'm going to place my last 3 double crochets into these stitches. We also need to add 1 double crochet into the space where we started with our chain 3. Placing a double crochet into a slipped stitch can feel a little bit tight. This is normal. So here we have our chain 3. We're now going to place 1 double crochet into the space. We're then going to place our slip stitch into the 3rd chain up, which is also the 4th chain along from your previous crochets. So now you have the basics of how to make a simple granny square. You now need to repeat row 2 for as many times as you like. Don't forget, when starting a new round, you need to chain 3 for a double crochet and you need to chain 3 for your chain space. Remember to place 2 double crochets into your chain space, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch along. When we get to the next chain space, remember it's 2 double crochets, chain 3 and then 2 double crochets. Once again, as you can see, I've almost completed round 3. I have 2 stitches left to place. If we take a look now, you can see that the granny square is really starting to take shape. So we just need to place our last stitches. And remember, when placing a crochet into a slip stitch, it can feel a little bit tighter. Don't forget to count 3 stitches up from the previous chain space before you place your slip stitch. This chain 3 counts as your double crochet. So now we have our basic granny square. You can continue crocheting around to make a very simple but effective blanket. If you like, you can add different colours of yarn for a different effect, or you can make multiple small squares to make a different pattern. Alternatively, you could make multiple small squares to put together to make a much larger blanket. Here you can see I've added 1 extra row to my square. I'm going to add the final 2 stitches, and then I'm going to show you how to cast off and weave in your ends. Once you've completed your final stitch and you've slipped into the chain 3, we're going to chain 1. The reason that we do this is because it's going to go tight and it's going to hold your yarn in place. If you pull up a loop of at least 4 inches before you cut it, this will give you enough yarn to weave in. If you remove your excess yarn and then pull tight on the tail end that's left, you'll see that that chain 1 creates a knot. This is going to hold your yarn in place. If you turn your square over, you can see the back of your stitches, and we have 2 tails of yarn that we now need to weave in. For this, I like to use a sharper darning needle. You don't have to, but I prefer to split the fibres of the yarn whilst I'm weaving my ends in because it holds the yarn in place better. For the centre tail, I find it easy to just follow the loop around and weave our tail in underneath the initial stitches. Then once you're happy with the placement of your yarn, you can then snip the tail off, being careful not to snip your stitches, otherwise all your hard work is going to come undone. If you add in further colours, it's easy to crochet over the end tail of your yarn to hide it. If not, and you're making multiple squares, feel free to weave these in at the end. So, now that you've watched my tutorial on how to make a basic granny square, let me know below in the comments how you got on or if you have any questions. Likewise, you can join me over on my social media pages to share your creations. Just search Crooked Yarns across all platforms. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe to keep up to date with my latest releases, and I will see you again soon.